One day on the Sacramento Northern Railroad, Miguel had just returned from the quarry. But I'm sorry to say he wasn't in a good mood today. "What's wrong with you?" asked Marcus. "Yeah, you don't look much like yourself," agreed Jefferson. "Mr. Richard told me that he has 4 Rio Grande SD40-2'S coming to our railroad on trial. And obviously, I think there could be up to trouble," he said. "Ha! I knew it. I was hoping a diesel would finally be bought. Looks like this railroad doesn't need old-time locomotives like you bought all around here at all." "Does he always bring this crap up all the time?" asked Emily. "Yes," said Alexander. "But one day he'll probably begin what's coming to him. I just hope these new engines don't cause any more confusion and delay, unlike that Union Pacific SD40-2 that came here," said Jefferson. I'm sorry to say, but Jefferson was wrong. When the Rio Grande diesel arrived, along with 3 more, they gazed grimly at Arnold. Arnold was just getting ready to take a goods train back to Sacramento yards when one of the diesels spoke up. "What's this steaming lump of scrap iron doing here? Be off with you!" "Scrap iron? Steaming scrap iron? Huh!" huffed Arnold, and he huffed away. But unlike the other 3 diesels, this Rio Grande locomotive was very quiet. Arnold was fuming at the diesel's remarks. "The other engines are sure not gonna like this," he said to himself. A little while later, Arnold met up with Taylor and Cody. Another diesel was being rude to them. Then he saw Arnold. "Oh, look, it's a little rust bucket on wheels. You'll be scrapped. Just you wait and see." "Well, bust my boiler. What a horrid diesel," said Cody. "Disgusting attitude, too," agreed Taylor. Just then, the 4th Rio Grande diesel pulled up next to them. "I'm sorry about my brothers being rude to you. They just never really like steam engines." He then went off to take on more fuel, leaving the 3 steam engines confused. At Highland Valley, Aiden and Lucky were talking to each other when suddenly one of the Rio Grande diesels rolled in with a freight train. Well, no wonder this railway is a mess. You belong in the museum, old kettle, not working on a passenger service." "I may be old, but I'm really reliable," replied Aiden. "Reliable? Puh," said the diesel. "Just you scram off." "Scram?" Aiden said. "Hey, you leave Aiden alone and stop bullying," said Lucky. "This is our railroad, and we have the right to be here, not you." Before the diesel could reply, Aiden puffed away. Then Lucky went back to work. He had a train of flour to collect. But when Lucky arrived at Roseville Yards, he was shocked to see 2 Rio Grande engines. "What are you two doing here?" "We 4 are doing your work now. You're too slow." The yard manager spoke to Lucky's engineer. "I'm sorry. Times are changing, I'm afraid." "Lucky may be old, but he is reliable," said the engineer. "Come on, Lucky. We'll just go to the farms. They'll still use us." The 4th Rio Grande engine felt bad for taking Lucky's work away. "Enjoy your time while it lasted," Lucky would say. And he rumbled away. The 3rd Rio Grande engine just snickered. Lucky was soon on his way back with some cattle cars when he heard an awful screeching noise coming from the mountain branch line. Came to a stop just beyond the bridge to see what was wrong. It was one of the Rio Grande engines loaded with coal. And apparently he was having trouble keeping them in line and was hurtling down the mountain out of control. "That engine is going to crash," said Lucky. And he did. The crew had jumped clear before the accident, but the diesel was sunk and smashed right into the river. He was taken back to Roseville Yards at once. Arnold looked at the diesel. "What's this lump of steaming scrap iron?" he teased. "We'll be back," replied the diesel, "so you can wipe that silly smile off your smokebox." "Ha!" said Arnold, and wished him loudly. Then Blackie arrived with the 2nd diesel from the flour mill. "What happened to him?" asked Lucky. "He was overloaded with flour," Blackie replied, "and he broke down." "Not really useful now, are you?" he said. Growled the diesels. Then Gio pulled in with the 3rd Rio Grande engine behind the breakdown crane. "What happened to that one?" asked Lucky. "Stupid diesel was reversing into the harbor and fell straight into the sea," replied Gio. "Now he got all covered with seaweed." Just then Mr. Richard came in. "I understand you 3 wanted to prove your reliability, but this is not the way to achieve it. As for that, you have caused confusion and delay. As for that, I'm sending these 3 diesels back to Denver, and I'm going to have to keep the 4th one, for he has proven his reliability to the railroad. Blackie, you will take these troublemaking diesels back to where they came from." "Yes, sir," said Blackie. And soon the 3 Rio Grande engines were sent back to where they came from. They moaned as they were towed away. The fourth Rio Grande engine was pleased they were gone, and was soon making amends with the other engines for his brother's attitude. The other engines forgave him, and they decided to give the fourth Rio Grande engine a new name. They called him Ted. I like it, he said. It's much better than seeing my brothers smashed, broken, and sunk. And all the engines laughed.